The truth is, Governor, is...
The body didn't show up for several months after April, as a matter of fact.
But you knew, Governor. You knew what had happened.
I didn't know what had happened. I believed that to be. I'd been informed that he was the likely person who had killed Woodhite.
On the very day on which Jesse James was killed, you gave an interview to the Chicago Times, did you not?
April 3rd. Yes, I did.
Okay. And you told the Chicago Times, who asked you who it was that had killed Jesse James, you said, "I tell you, my mysterious man Bob, as they call him, did the work. Who is Bob? That I am not at liberty to tell. The papers in their dispatches and interviews made Bob out to be Woodhite and him killed. He's not Woodhite. Woodhite is dead, and Bob's another individual. You knew at the time you met with him, the time you hired him, that Bob Ford was a murderer, that he killed Woodhite."
I believe that to be true.
So, did you, is it true that you didn't authorize Ford to kill James?
Did I authorize him to kill Jesse James?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. You didn't authorize him to take him under any circumstances? Dead or alive?
I don't understand the question.
Well, now that must mean that there are some circumstances in which Ford was not authorized to use deadly force, in your view, right?
I've already told you that we had a discussion that the idea of having to use deadly force did come up, and I said, and he explained that with somebody that dangerous, there was a very good chance that that was going to have to happen, and I agreed, and I said that the people of the state of Missouri would understand that.
Well, did you tell him that it would be okay to wait until Jesse James was unarmed, had his back turned, and to shoot him in the back of the head?
Nope.
But in fact, you approved of precisely that conduct, did you not, Governor?
Do I, in hindsight, approve? I do not approve of the method. I approve of the outcome. I approve of the fact that we're going to have safer citizens, that men and women and children can go to a Kansas City Expo and not be in danger of being shot down and run over by a man like Jesse James.
Okay, and in fact, you manifested your approval by pardoning Bob Ford, did you not?
Yes.
Okay. And you told Bob Ford back in your first meeting with him that you would pardon him if he killed Jesse James.
That is not correct.
You never told him that?
I never told him that.
You never told him that until the day before the day of his trial?
I didn't tell him the day before his trial.
Did you ever tell him that you would pardon him for killing Jesse James before April the 3rd of 1882?
No, and I didn't tell him on April the 3rd either.
And yet, on the morning of April the 3rd of 1882, Bob Ford walked into a Missouri courtroom charged with first-degree murder, a capital offense, and pled guilty, correct?
He was found guilty on that day.
He wasn't found guilty, was he, Governor? He, in fact, pled guilty,
I don't
correct?
recall. I don't recall.
Let me hand you Government's Exhibit 20.
Thank you.
The judgment of conviction and sentence for Robert Ford. He pled guilty, did he not?
He did.
So a man who had no promise of a pardon walked into a first-degree murder trial, a trial on a charge for which the only penalty in this state is hanging, and he pled guilty.
He did plead guilty.
And by 3:45 that afternoon, he walked out of that courtroom a free man because you pardoned him. Isn't that right, Governor?
I believed he deserved a pardon.
And he knew that you thought that, because otherwise he would never have put his neck in the noose that morning. Isn't that right, Governor?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Now, on April the 5th of 1882, you gave an interview to the Kansas City Daily Times, did you not?
You'd have to refresh my recollection.
He hands you Government's Exhibit 16.
Thank you.
You have 2 more minutes.
Fine, Your Honor. When asked, you gave that interview, did you not?
Yes, I did.
When asked if you had the Fords, told the Fords that the choice of whether or not to kill Jesse James would take him alive was wholly in their discretion, you refused to answer directly, and instead you simply said, in effect, that the ends justify the means. Correct, Governor?
I thought under these circumstances, the ends did justify the means.
Finally, a little later on, I'd like you to,
sorry.
Your Honor, I'm almost finished, about 2 more questions. You made another comment. I'd like you to read for us, if you would, Governor, the passage from this, beginning with Jesse James. You can read it off the screen if you wish. These are your words.
You'd like me to read this?
Yes.
Starting with the words great success.
Jesse James.
Following
Great success, yeah.
Jesse James showed no respect for the state of his nativity, the home of his people, and the laws, showed no mercy to man, woman, or child in the accomplishment of his ends. What right had he in life, or his friends now, to appeal to that law for the protection of others, and that rule of mercy, which he never exercised towards others in his life?
So in your opinion, Governor, based on your own words, your opinion is that those who break the law are beyond the protection of the law, correct?
That is not correct.
That's what you said, isn't it, Governor?
That is not what I said.
In fact, what you said was, what right had he in his life or his friends now to appeal to the law? You said to the press that he had no right to appeal to the law because you placed him outside the reach of the law. Isn't that right, Governor?
Shall I read it for you again?
Just answer the question.
Okay, repeat the question, please.
Last question, Governor. In light of what you told the press, isn't it fair to conclude that, in your opinion, that those who break the law are beyond the protection of it, and that you decide who is or is not within the protection of the law? And isn't it fair to conclude, Governor, that once you, Thomas T. Crittenden, decide that a man is outside the law, that man can only hope for justice or mercy before the throne of his Maker, because he will get neither law nor justice nor mercy in the state of Missouri?
No.
No further questions.
Cross or redirect.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
You may step down.
Thank you.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
Would counsel come forward, please?